So, getting started with Unreal. Now, because this class is online, you guys, for the most part, will have to have your own versions of Unreal on your own sort of computers. If there are labs you have access to or you have a laptop, that's fine. If you don't, we do have the computer lab in the SAU. Just let me know and I will give you swipe access to that. So, and I can meet with you and go over. So, so if that's the case, if you want to work only in that lab, then you can sort of ignore the rest of this. But for everybody else, here's what we're going to do. So in a nutshell, you basically have to have an account with Epic. You first have to download and install the Epic Games Launcher. Then you can go and you can download the Unreal version, an Unreal 4 version. Just a good note, I don't like to download and work in the version that is currently in development, simply because you're constantly adding, you have to update it, because often there are bugs, right, left, right, and center. So, and I've had some pretty weird things happen. So I like to go for the version prior to the one being worked on, which I think is 4.19 at the moment. Okay, so now the other thing that I wanted to point out is this is not a class about 3D modeling. I don't want you guys to spend a huge amount of time or even any time making 3D models. So we're gonna, do the best we can with free models and assets that we can get from Epic themselves and in the marketplace. There's a lot of free stuff I'm going to look at and show you. Or there are places, there are also online sites like TurboSquid. If you search for free assets, you can. Now, if you're in TurboSquid or something, be careful, because sometimes you can get these just crazy, enormous, millions of polygons, meshes, right? So you want to just be careful about the size of those things. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys over. Once you do download the Epic Game Launcher, this is what it looks like. Mine, of course, has stuff in it. Yours won't. This is my library. And when you start making your games or your projects for this class, your library will be a go-to source that's going to keep all of your little things there, so you can click on them and access them pretty easily. Now, if you see up here at the top where it says engine versions, I've got 4.17 and 4.18 installed. If I wanted to install a new one, what I would do is go up here, install a new version of the Unreal Engine, and I would click that plus and I get this little thing that, right now it's at the 4.20. If I click the drop down arrow, I can see all of the versions that are available to me, right? So this is really handy. For if you're developing a whole bunch of things. Like sometimes I have something that's been going on for a couple of years and it's in an older version, and for some reasons maybe you don't want to update it, or it's a real pain, or you're just revisiting something that's older, and some of the stuff in it is obsolete. So anyway, so that's what you do. Okay, I'm going to close it out. Now, there's also a marketplace, and if you click on that, you can see a lot of these are for sale. I don't expect you guys to buy any. Of course, you're welcome to do that. But if you search for free, oh, that didn't work. Oh yes, it did. So there are some things in here. You might get some free assets. There's the occasional free one in here. Okay, so you get the picture. However, you also, the thing that I find much more useful and full of stuff is in the Learn tab, actually. Now this is all the stuff by Epic, pretty much, that they've created, and they have been really generous, and they've just made a ton of their stuff freely available for people to use. So some of the things that I find will probably be really interesting for you is if we go down. So if you need water and you want water planes, you can download this and you can have these cool water things. The Open World collection gives you some grass and trees and some rocks. I would avoid A Boy and His Kite, simply because they're huge and I don't think they're very useful. So the Sun Temple has some really cool classical architecture assets, right? Let's see, reflections. So all of this stuff, all of these meshes and all of these things you can basically have for free and use inside yours. The Elemental demo has some, basically also some cool stuff, particle effects you can get in there for free. This has some nice God rays and stuff that you can just use and import. Also that tree and some woodwork and pipes and things like that. If you need couches and standard picture frames and curtains and things, the realistic rendering one is good too. They might have some more stuff in here. Those are the ones I'm most familiar with. Okay, but that is definitely enough really to get you started, those in the freebies, and we find ways of faking it, okay? All right, so I think that's enough for Unreal. Please contact me if you have any questions. Okay, so finally, I've made a checklist that's available on my courses. I also am using the calendar so you guys can keep track of events. But basically this week we're kind of getting used to things. So watch the videos. There are 2 things to read: a short article by a woman by the last name of Laurel on games as theater, which is really interesting, and then also a chapter by Ian Bogost on complex worlds, which is really cool. There are 3 lectures. This is the first of them. The other 2 are again more introductory lectures that will help you with our first assignment, which is not due until next week, but feel free to get started on it as early as you like. Okay, well that's it for this lecture, and I will see you guys soon.